The film opens with Jang Pan-soo getting ready for his office. Jang is living the life of luxury as he has married a woman to inherit her father's rich business. Jang gets himself ready and upsets his wife before leaving. As he reaches his office, he is told that the carpenter is not ready to give up his woodshop to Jang, so he sends his thugs over to the shop. However, the carpenter's life becomes a living hell when the thugs threaten to chop off his arm if he doesn't give the shop's ownership to them. Sadly, the carpenter has to give up. The following day, Jang goes to his regular spot to eat, but finds that the owner has been replaced. He gets disappointed and leaves without touching the food. While paying the bill, the new lady requests him to pay the bill of a kid who has forgotten his wallet at home. Jang finds it odd, but he pays it regardless. Subsequently, he goes out for a smoke. The same kid, whose bill was paid by Jang, is seen on a rooftop trying to get back his shoe that is somehow stuck to an antenna. In the attempt, he falls off the roof and falls on Jang. Jang gains consciousness in a hospital bed and starts panicking. As he gets up and tries to get out, he hears everyone calling him a kid and gets mad. He checks himself out in the mirror and becomes scared when he sees the reflection of the kid whose bill he had paid earlier. It becomes hard for him to figure out that his body has been swapped with a chubby kid named Kim when he fell on top of him. On the other hand, Kim, who is in Jang's body, has gone into a coma. Kim's father shows up and takes his son to a doctor, not knowing that it's Jang. The doctor states that Kim, who is Jang in reality, has lost his memory due to which he's acting this way. Later, Jang goes to his actual home to see his wife while he's stuck in Kim's body. His wife gets mad to see a kid referring to himself as her husband and calls security on him. She also asks how he cracked the passwords to her room. Jang asks to prove himself, but the guards takes him to the cops. As the cops try to interrogate Jang, Kim's father shows up and bails him out of the situation. Kim ends up in the same hospital. He finds Jang's body and starts humping it in hopes that he would get back inside his actual body. Jang's guard shows up and grabs Kim by the collar. He threatens him to never come near Jang. Kim's father takes Jang home, not knowing there is a gangster's soul stuck inside his kid. He prepares a 5-people feast for his son. Jang is confused and points out that he cannot eat this much. Strangely, Jang blacks out, and when he gets back to his senses, he is shocked to see that he has cleared the entire table. Subsequently, the father takes Jang to Kim's school. There, he talks to the principal and complains that his kid's condition has worsened due to the bullies at his school and asks to take some action against it. Jang sits on the chair with his own signature style, which is found disrespectful by the principal. The father further sheds light on his kid's memory being lost, which has him acting in a weird manner. However, the father convinces the principal to enroll Kim back in the school. The following day, Jang is seen in the school during recess time getting ignored by everyone. While eating, he glances at a group of girls who are being loud and also singling out another girl. He shouts at them and warns them to stay quiet because he doesn't like it when his meals are interrupted like this. Hearing this, a bully shows up to him and tries to intimidate him. The bully is stopped from hitting him due to the teachers showing up, so he threatens Kim to meet him alone after the school's off time. Later, Jang shows up to the bully in Kim's body and confronts him. The bully is shocked to see Kim, who once wasn't courageous enough to defend himself. The bully rages and tries to hit Jang, but Jang dodges and counterattacks him. The bully becomes afraid of him and runs away. Later, the bully gangs up with his buddies and singles out Kim's friend in the bathroom. They start ragging the weak friend, but they stop as soon as Kim comes out of a bathroom stall. Kim beats up the bullies as a force of habit and takes the main guy's phone with him. At home, he goes through the phone and finds out videos of the bullies pushing Kim off the roof and a girl named Hyun who is seen defending Kim and trying to stop the bullies but is too weak to take physical action. Jang realizes that Kim was pushed off the roof by them and landed on him, which has somehow caused their bodies to swap. The next day, he approaches the bullies in school and hands them the phone. They are afraid that he's going to go to the police and report a crime, but Jang says he has his ways of working things out. Later, he goes to his assistant Manchul and confronts that he's Jang who is stuck inside a fat kid's body. Manchul has a hard time believing him, but when he hears his personal details coming out of the kid's mouth, he is convinced that Jang has been put in a situation. Jang has adopted Kim's eating habits, so he asks Manchul to order him a lot of food so that he can eat and think of a solution. The next day, Jang is heading toward his first class. Hyun, the girl who was trying to stop the bullies in the video, bumps into him. Jang finds her stuffed bunny on the ground. He picks it up and goes after him. As he approaches Hyun, he is greeted by Hyun's mother, who happens to be his ex-wife. He is shocked to see that his ex has a daughter that he doesn't know of. He gets into trouble for calling his ex-wife by her name my son because it is disrespectful if a kid calls an elder by a name. Hyun begs her mother to let go of Kim and tells her that he has lost his memory. That day, he manages to run some tests on Hyun and finds out that she is my son and his daughter. He becomes so happy to have found that, but when he sees Hyun getting bullied by the mean girls, he outrages and talks to his assistant regarding the issue and orders him to deal with the girls and anyone who tries to hurt his daughter. Man-chul convinces him to take other measures instead of a gangster's approach. Jang then goes to my son and requests her to train Hyun in self-defense so that she can stand up for herself. My son agrees and gets her daughter into a self-defense class where she practices hard and becomes a pro. On the other hand, Jang works hard in Kim's body and becomes a handsome guy whom girls would die for. When he shows up to school with all the weight loss, he becomes a hot gossip and grabs everyone's eye. After school, he finds an excuse to go to Hyun's house with her. There he sees pictures of Hyun when she was a baby. He secretly snaps them on his phone. At school, he takes a quick peep at the pictures. He also sees Hyun standing up to the bullies. He feels so proud to see his daughter fight and beat up the girls. That day, he goes to my son's restaurant and has lunch with her. She is surprised to see his order and tells him that she used to eat the same food as her ex-husband. It is then revealed that the spot where Jang had gone to eat food in the beginning was my son's. He had gone to see his wife, but she had moved on. My son tells the kid that she misses her ex, but at the same time, she is really mad at him but doesn't know that she's actually talking to Jang. As they are talking, they are interrupted by some mannerless drunkards who get handsy and disrespectful to my son. This infuriates Jang and leads him to open an attack and break every bone in their bodies. This comes to my son as a great shock. She confronts Kim and demands to know who he really is. Jang reveals to my son that he is the actual Jang who has been stuck inside Kim's body. My son doesn't believe him, but he shocks her by telling her the place where they first met and had their final breakup. My son gets scared and has a hard time processing. However, she tells that she is really mad at him and makes him leave the place. There we get into a flashback where a younger Jang is seen leaving my son just so he could marry his boss's daughter and get ahead in the mafia world. People who are blinded by wealth and success often end up sad, and the same was the case with Jang at the current time. His relationship with his wife was on the verge of a dead end. Next, Hyun gets an invitation to a birthday party from her school crush and gets flattered. Hence, she decides to attend the party. On the other hand, Jae meets up with my son and apologizes for leaving her like that. My son doesn't appreciate his apology, thinking that he would never have done that if his body hadn't been switched with a boy. My son then leaves the coffee place. Not long after, he gets a call from his people saying that Hyun is in big trouble. He runs to save his daughter. He reaches Hyun's crush's birthday party and catches him humiliating Hyun by pouring the entire jug of juice on her head in front of everyone. He starts beating up the bullies. This gives Hyun some confidence and she beats up some jerks too. Subsequently, he is told by his assistant that his current wife has accused him of some money fraud. Jang writes a letter about her affair and sends it to his boss, who is also his father-in-law. He then goes to Hyun's house where he requests my son to see her, but she refuses. Outside, Jang is stopped by Hyun, who asks him to be her boyfriend. Jang is freaked out to hear her daughter propose to him, so he runs away. Han goes home and tells her mother about Jang's behavior. My son hits Hyun in fury and says that she cannot be with him even if the world comes to an end. My son goes to see Jang and yells at him to stay away from Hyun. She also asks what he did to make Hyun fall in love with him. Jang is embarrassed and tells that he was only trying to help her stay safe from the bullies. He further begs her to forgive him and accept him. My son states that his inside a kid's body has put her in a pickle. Even if she forgives Jang, she cannot be with him. Hyun overhears this from a distance and demands an explanation. Jang immediately breaks to Hyun that he loves her mother and they are in an affair. Hyun gets traumatized and runs away. My son gets mad at him for telling her that, but he says that this was his only option to kill Hyun's feelings for him. In the next scene, Jang's current wife has sent an assassin to kill him in the hospital, but Jang, who is actually Kim, wakes up and scares the assassin away. Kim runs to his dad in the hospital and tells him how he has missed him, but the father is confused to see a grown-up man hugging him like that. The real Jang, who is in Kim's body, shows up coincidentally and clears things out. Jae and Kim sit with the father and Kim speaks from Jang's body about his childhood memories, which have the father convinced. On the other hand, Mr. Han, the mafia don, calls his daughter and asks for an explanation about her affair. She starts whining and says that she started her affair after Jang was gone into a coma and wonders how he knows. Mr. Han realizes that his daughter is a scum and that Jang is doing fine somewhere on Earth. He gets his people to summon Jang in front of him. Jang sends Kim, who is trapped in Jang's body, and attaches a Bluetooth device to his ear for proper guidance, but some error occurs and it stops working. Mr. Han asks Jang to sign some property papers, but the wife starts whining and declares that Jang has a daughter with his ex. Kim takes matters into his hands since Jang had clearly told him everything. Kim says that he apologizes for everything, but he has realized now his family is everything to him. He tells Mr. Han to keep his property to himself and leaves. However, the entitled and jealous wife isn't satisfied. She hits Jang with his car, but it's Kim on the inside. He is hospitalized and Jang shows up in Kim's body and tells him everything to Hyun. Jang faints and is hospitalized too. While Jang's body is operated on, both souls gets back into their respective bodies. Kim goes back to school with a slimmer body and finds out that everyone likes him now. He finally gets into a relationship with Hyun. On the other hand, Jang is seen working in a restaurant with My-sun where they have appointed Kim's father too. Both families have tied the knot and decided to stay together forever. Subscribe to see more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.